Yes, now, and welcome back to episode 56 of the Top Loader podcast. It's international break, so we've bored ourselves to death with two England games. It was 2 wins, but it's still international break. It's never the same. But Harry, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, not doing too badly, thanks, Ron. Bit of a early riser now. The clocks have gone forward, but it's lighter in the evenings now. So summer's around the corner. Summer card show season is around the corner. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm not doing too badly, thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad at all. I think that's a perfect segment because obviously it is card show season, and there was a very different card show this weekend. It was the Whatnot Card Show 2.0, which obviously is nice because you don't have to get a train, you don't have to get a car, you don't have to get a plane. You can just sit on your well, not even sit. You can lay in your bed and just buy cards, which is dangerous. But early thoughts of it, it's quite a good idea. But there was a load of people streaming. I was helping out our good friend LGL on Friday, and there was probably a good 30 people at once in the UK, which was a lot on Friday. So everyone was averaging between 10 and 20. Most people were there for the giveaway. So everyone knows Whatnot, that most people are there for the giveaway. So have you had any thoughts on this Whatnot culture? I think it's a great philosophy, like really good, but pro it, con, or bit in the middle?
Um, I'm a little bit in the middle, but I'd probably say more 65-45 for it. I've
65-45.
Yeah, that's up to 100, doesn't it?
110.
60, 70, 89. No, it doesn't.
65 and 45.
No, it's 100.
60 plus 40 is 100
Oh,
plus the
yeah, you're
two
right.
five.
Hang on, I'm a bit behind. Hang on.
Blame the clocks. Blame the
Yeah,
clocks.
I'm still tired. Cut that bit out, Ronnie. Cut that bit out. I did pass maths, I promise. 60-40 was what I was going to go with. I think it's a good. Oh, maybe to look a right mug right on here right now, but I think the actual concept, right, running back to it, come on. No, I think the actual concept of it is actually quite good.
Yeah.
I do think it's like you almost had to have your phone open, your laptop open,
Mm.
another phone, like to have like 3 different streams open because there's so much going on. You have got obviously all the buy now sections in the sellers pages. So then you have got the auctions that go on at night as well. But I do think it's really good because it's like people stock up. Like these sellers will stock up compared to normal for the likes of these card shows, and such a variety on there. And you've got the chance where usually a streamer would maybe get on average 30 to 50 sort of viewers. Where there's like 30 different people streaming live, that sort of capacity is spread out between a lot of different streamers. So that's I do think the actual concept is brilliant. And I think you got the US side of things and you've got the UK side of things as well. So I do think it's really good. I just think you need to have a few mobile devices open and ready to obviously to look at like more than one person's, especially when they're streaming within close proximity of one another. But I managed to pick up a few good deals from Gus, particularly Grows by Gus. Picked up a nice gold Alexis Sanchez to 50 from Top Showcase. But no, yeah, like I said, I really like the whole concept. I think we're both sat here now watching Trike's Whatnot stream on the card show. But the concept's brilliant. I just think there's a lot going on. That's my only con. I think it's not a massive con, but it's my only con where I'm sort of like, there's a lot going on all at once, and you've got to try and spread yourself out evenly to sort of get the best deals and see everything that's going on. I don't know what your opinion is, and I probably just blabbed on for a lot longer than I needed to, but I guess that's my in a nutshell review.
The one thing I think I'd like to see a lot more often, and it's not even just a case for the card show, is I like it how people uploaded all of their stock prior to the show, so you knew what was going to be run. Whereas a lot of times, especially with Whatnot streams, people will just be on screen single number one. You have no idea what's running, so you have to stay in the stream. Whereas people listed it up, they had 100, 150, 200 items, and every single one was pictured front and back so you can see the condition. And then what the best thing about that is then you can do the pre-bid if you want to pre-bid if they're auctioning it. Obviously, if it's buy now, it's a bit different. Or you can put a little notification there. If it does go live, you can then join back in if you've got the quick enough fingers, that is, to be able to go back into it by the time it don't run off. But yeah, I think it's a very good idea. Obviously, it's very new still, especially for the UK. It's only the second one stateside as well. So to be the first one in the UK was a very good idea. I think, like I say, I think there was a lot Friday and Saturday in terms of content. Sunday was a bit quieter. So I would like to have seen maybe Friday split up a bit more and Saturday onto Sunday, because it seemed Friday night was packed. And that was kind of like the main hype on the Friday, and then it died out slowly. But whereas it seems like in the US, they've got like it split quite well between the bigger streamers. As of we're recording this on the Sunday, Trike is live at the moment, and then Sunday League Investors is live later on. So that's good for the soccer guys. But I think it's a good idea. Gets people built up. Obviously, everyone's now got to save money because in about 3-4 weeks, whatever it is, it's the London Card Show already again. So it's going to be a very busy time. But like I said, you picked up that nice Alexis Sanchez gold showcase, and people do get in some more unique items for this show, which I found very good to look at. And sadly, I didn't win. There was a few Ozil Jacker giveaways, which I did not win, even though everyone in there was rooting for me, apart from the one guy who did win it. But what can you do? But like I said, did I buy anything? Try and think now if I've actually bought anything on the car. I bought 2 items, only 2 light ones just for the PC. 2 of the Saka Spellbound. I think it was the S and the, was it? No, I got both of the A's for £1 each. Otherwise, it was a quiet one. It's good. I'd like to see it a lot more of whatnot, but now everyone's going to be building their stock back up for the card show. So hopefully we see some good collections again at London, because I know that Saturday is going to be busy as it ever is. Probably expecting 16 to 1800 people again on the Saturday. So is that going to be your goal? So I know we've got pickups later on, but are we putting a disclaimer out there already that we're trying to save money for the London Card Show?
Yeah, I think, that's been my sort of main focus at the moment, is obviously trying to accumulate the funds ready for London, because, I don't know what it is. Like, I could see a card and I'm like, if it wasn't London next month, I'd buy that right now. But it's one of the things where I'm like, I'd rather save that 40, 50 quid, whatever, and keep it for London, where you can make a deal in person. You might see some cards you've not necessarily seen before. So yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. Like, there's some cards that I've seen recently where I've been like, I have to buy that because I need it. But there's a lot of cards I've seen recently, especially on the Whatnot Card Show this weekend, where I've been like, yeah, I'd like it, and if it wasn't London next month, I would have bought it. But where it is, I'm trying to just save some funds for that and put my main focus onto London. Yes, it's a whole month away, but it's literally, I think it's the weekend prior to payday. So yeah, it's having to hold out a whole month now until London. So that's pretty much my main focus. And yeah, we have got some pickups, but I think a lot of people can agree. So yeah, it's the countdown to London now. It is less than a month away. So yeah, the main focus is now looking all eyes on London.
Yeah, and obviously, with all eyes on London, we do now switch our attention. Obviously, Prizm was finally released last week, which was great. Obviously, we done about 3-4 episodes ago when it got delayed, but it's always interesting Prizm early, because obviously the prices are mental. Always is. Every single year with Prizm, there's at least 1 or 2 cards that just go for a stupid price. 2 months down the line, they'll be going for a 5th or a 6th for that price. So, initial thoughts on, before we go into autos and stuff like that, we've obviously got our predictions that we made for the Color Blast. Initial on the actual base design.
I do like it. I think it's it's a freshened up design. It's quite new. It's quite clean. It's quite, eye catching. I'm not in love with it. I don't think, oh my God, it's the best Prizm design yet. But I think it's a nice bit of newness, a bit of a freshen up, compared to what it normally is in terms of the base design. So yeah, I mean, I don't see. I'm not too against it. I'm not in love with it, but I don't think it's too bad, to be fair with you. I think it's quite clean.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been designed well. That the parallels look nice, because no one
Yeah.
really cares. No one cares about the actual base design. It's all about the parallels, and I've seen some parallels that look really nice. Obviously, now we've actually seen the base cards as well. The inventory is always a question of which cards do look good, and I've got to admit, there quite a few of them are looking quite good. Actually, there's quite a few that would be chasing especially Arsenal-wise. I think the Fabio Vieira one looks brilliant of him celebrating when he scored against Brentford. But autos-wise, there's some nice designs and some, I think, horrid designs. I think the Club Legends ones are not the nicest looking autos out there.
No.
But I suppose it's with Prizm is they've got to change it up every year. Like you're going to run out, if you do the same nice design every year, everyone will get bored of it and then they'll be like, go on all that. But then there's only one auto to talk about so far, which has been doing ridiculous prices, and that's Mr. Erling Braut Haaland, whose base autos are doing about 700-800, which is mental. And what people don't realise, that's his base auto, which there's hundreds of. By the time episode 65 comes along, they're probably about 200-300. I can't see anyone disagreeing with, all right, there might not be as cheap as 200, it might be 400, but there's no way they're surviving that $800 for a base Prizm auto.
Yeah, I think I can't lie. It's probably what I expected. When Prizm first gets released, the prices are always through the roof. They're always at an all-time high. So I don't blame the guys or girls that are pulling these Haaland autos to flog them straight on eBay, because it's probably the highest price they'll get for them ever, with it being literally in the first week of release. I agree with you. I think I saw a tweet earlier that I was showing you before we started recording, where I think there was a Haaland auto base that was up for like $899 that had no bids, no offers, nothing. So I think, you've already seen there's a slight decrease in the value now of these Haaland autos because they're just so common. I've seen so many Haaland autos since Prizm release. And I think, it is true that the prices will drop, and you can see it being around that $200 mark when it eventually gets down there. But I said they're just very common. That's the thing at the moment. They're so common, in my opinion. I think you're almost being pulled every case, every box, whatever. So yeah.
Also with Erling Haaland, it doesn't help Prizm prices at all when the one-of-one gets pulled in China before it officially releases. And it seems like it's a bit of a growing trend now, sadly, that there's always a big card pulled just before release or as it releases. Trying to think, the World Cup Prizm, there was quite a few big cards that went literally, I think it was the Mbappe auto, literally went near enough straight away. And obviously that's going to be a massive factor in the prices in the boxes, that they will go down a lot. Because if people had to ask what is the main chase card, a lot of them are probably saying Erling Haaland one of one. Obviously the auto as well, so the auto is still in play at the moment. But his base card is definitely a play. I know for us, one of the main chases for us would have been the dual auto of Sol Campbell and Dennis Bergkamp. The one of that's been pulled.
Wasn't there a one-of-one Haaland that got pulled?
Yeah, base card.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, I thought it was, yeah.
Maguire 101's already been pulled, so I know everyone who wants the most overrated centre-half in English football want him. There's been quite a few one-of-ones I've seen already. They even see a case, I think it was Alejandro Garnacho, and he had like 4 of his low print cards pulled in the same case. And it seems like there's a bit of a trend at the moment that the same people are hitting multiple times in the same case, which is good for the spot, but it should be shared around a bit more, I believe. Trying to think, there was a case, that was exactly the same case that I was talking about, the one-of-one dual of Sol Campbell and Dennis Bergkamp, had a green to 5 Saka. So if you got the Arsenal spot, you're winning. But then the same in that case was a to 3 dual of the Man U one, which is...
It was Beckham and Scholes.
Yeah. So
I think it was.
Whoever, but that in the same... Them two shouldn't really be in the same case, to be honest. 2 dual autos, one of one and 1 to 3. But I suppose it's just the luck of the draw for Panini and how they do it. But it's a nice product. Definitely be chasing. So before we go into our predictions of what Colour Blast will fall, have you got any chase cards that you're thinking about in the long run going after?
I mean, a lot of the parallels I do think are clean, like we were saying. I think there's a lot of nice parallels. I mean, in a dreamland, yes, your 3 Colour Blasts that we have, the Thierry Henry, Martin Odegaard, and the Bukayo Saka. I mean, any of those 3 would be fantastic. But unfortunately, I don't have a money tree growing in my garden. So it's not going to be too easy for anyone to get a hold of either of those 3. It's weird because I quite like the deep space.
Yeah.
Like, it's a case here. I think I saw a Jesus up for, 115 on eBay last night. But for me, I just think a lot of the parallels are really nice. A lot of the short prints are really nice. The only case here that really like stands out for me, obviously, is Color Blast. But I think overall, I think the autos are what I really like. I really like the Tony Adams auto. I really like the Ray Parler auto, Sol Campbell, Gabrielle. So I think, yeah, a couple of the nice Arsenal base autos when the price drops and settles at a good price. I'll probably look to pick up a few of those, and a lot of the parallels that come up. Apart from that, that's probably my only real chases in. Again, anything that comes up as Arsenal that's nice, obviously I'll have a look at anyway. But in terms of the proper chases, it will just be obviously the dual auto is really nice. But again, I'm just thinking realistically in terms of a price point. But yeah, I don't know. Are you chasing anything in particular? Obviously, your boy Gabriel's got an auto again, isn't he? So
Yeah, lucky enough, his prices are already coming down in price in terms of the autos, because he was obviously in Revolution and they was going for about $80, and now I've seen the base Prizm already go for like 40, 50, which is fantastic. Obviously, the boy Granit Xhaka again, he's got parallels, he's got instant impact as well, so I might try and pick up a low print of that. But the one that I've kind of set on, which I really like, is the the groovy insert. Really do like that. So I think a sack of one of them would be lovely. Obviously,
it's a little bit groovy, isn't it?
Oh, pardon the pun.
I'll see myself out.
Yeah, see ya after the mathematics as well. See you later. But no, they are really nice cards. I think as well the parallel that I do really like is the snake skin. I think that's a really nice one. Obviously, I think it's case it. I think or per bot. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I think it's a case it and it's a lovely parallel. So I'd love to get a Xhaka, one of them. I think. And it kind of threw me as well because I was watching a break and someone pulled an orange and I thought, oh, that's nice out of 25, but the orange is out of 15. So they've changed all the parallels around, which is a bit weird and it takes time to get used to. And sadly, I think one of the nicest parallels in prior years, the blue ice, has been scrapped. So that's a shame because that was a really nice parallel. But obviously, there's quite a few really nice. So we definitely will be.
I think just going back very quickly, I think for me, like I know they're not all from first off the line, but like the zebra, the tiger, like those sorts of parallels, I think are really nice.
Yeah,
and I feel like they go a little bit under the radar sometimes as well. But no, for me, definitely, I think if when choice comes out and the Nebula one of ones, and but I do think like the zebra, the tiger, those sorts of parallels.
Yeah,
I think are really underrated in my opinion. I could be wrong. Everyone might be chasing after them, but I guess from what I've seen, I feel like they're a little bit underrated sometimes. I know I missed out on a Smith Rowe Tiger from 2020, I think last season or year before's Prizm. But I think they're even that snake skin they're really, really nice parallels.
Yeah, no, definitely. I do like the choice ones. They always are really nice. They pop a lot. And obviously you have to wait for them to be released. But I was just looking at in terms of the actual each parallel, and it's ridiculous. So you've got green ice, which normally is
there's like 40 or different parallels, isn't there?
Yeah, so you got green ice, which is normally a Panini exclusive on their win, where you get the white sparkle packs. You got green pulsar, hyper mojo, multicolor, pink mosaic, pink stars, purple pulsar, red mosaic, silver, snakeskin, white sparkle. They're just the non-numbered parallels. Then you've got pink to 199, blue to 175, red to 149, red mojo to 99, purple to 49, blue mojo to 25, purple mojo to 20, orange to 15, red stars to 15, pink mojo to 11, gold to 10, gold pulsar to 10, blue shimmer to 8, lucky envelopes to 8, green to 5, and black 1. That is them. And then you move on to breakaway, which is obviously you got base breakaway, pink to 99, blue to 75, red to 49, purple to 25, gold to 10, green to 5, and obviously your 101. And then you have the choice, which is the blue, yellow, green, tiger, red to 30, red, blue, purple to 15, green to 5, and your nebula 1 of 1 for your base cards. So if anyone does complete a rainbow of a card in this, they deserve a medal or something from Panini, because that is going to be really blimmin' hard. That is to get anything near that. Hey, just getting the free 101s, but then all of the other bits as well to it. But obviously we did guess the color blast, and Panini, thank you very much for making us look absolutely stupid, because we was obviously predicting it for some clubs who didn't even get one. Thank you very much for that. Because we was thinking,
we didn't get a single one.
So I thought, who got it for West Ham then? Because we both predicted it. And guess what? There's no
West Ham
West
didn't
Ham
have
colour
one.
blast.
Yeah.
No. So that was out the window straight away. But obviously, we did cast some predictions. So we do start with the beloved Arsenal. And I did pick wrong because I said it was either Martinelli or Odegaard. I went with Martinelli, and then Mr. HJA went with Odegaard. So he did score one there. Then for
Yes.
Chelsea, they've got a few, obviously, within the colour blasts because that's how Panini loves to do it nowadays, that they just love to throw in multiple of everything. So we both said, let me load it up, the actual ones, to remember who's got one and who's not got one.
You said like Sterling, didn't you, or something? Or like.
So I said Mason Mount and you said Kai
Oh.
Havertz. But I know Sterling got an honourable mention, but their colour blasts are as follows. Raheem Sterling, Conor Gallagher managed to pull one off, Mason Mount, and Reece James. So they've got four.
Ah.
So I managed to get one in there. But like I say, no one was anticipating four.
Kai Havertz got the groovy, didn't he? So
Yeah. Then for Liverpool, we said it won't be obvious. So you went for Henderson and I went for Diaz because it was never going to be obvious. But they managed to get Salah, Van Dijk, Darwin Núñez, and
Van
Trent
Dijk
Alexander
was actually a good one, wasn't he?
and
I
Trent
didn't think of that.
Alexander-Arnold. So they got four, and four of them are obvious. So next time we're actually going to go for the obvious blimmin' ones, isn't we? You know what I mean? Like, and then obviously being the obvious ones, we move on to Manchester City. Your prediction was Philip Foden, and mine was Erling Haaland, and we both got that one right because they both got one, which is obviously nice and easy for us. That causes no arguments. Man United, I went for Marcus Rashford, and you went for Bruno Fernandes. They were surprising. Obviously, David Beckham is a surprising one, which is a cool one because no one really thought Legends won. They did get Marcus Rashford, and then the other one was Anthony Alanga, which is a bit out there. I don't think anyone really would have predicted an Anthony Alanga one. Then after Man United, it was Newcastle. Did Newcastle even get one? That is the question. I don't believe
think they did.
No, they didn't get one, so that was a waste of our time. Moving on to Brighton, guess what? That was a waste of our time. Moving on to Fulham, guess what? That was a waste of our time. And then moving on to the last one, which was Leeds. You predicted Jack Harrison. I predicted Tyler Adams, and it was Joe Geldhart, who's out on loan in the Championship. So
typical Panini.
Yeah, typical. So how do you feel? And I would like to know other people's opinions on it. How do you feel that they've really only given it to the so-called bigger teams, like multiple? I would rather it one per team than a couple of legends. But also, for anyone who does remember, we did say there's going to be one goalkeeper colour blast, and that was Dean Henderson for Forest. So we was right there, but I just don't like how they done it for multiple for the same teams, and then some teams didn't have any at all.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I get the whole point of being an SSP, being a case hit. Like they don't want to put too many of them, like one for each team. But for me, yes, I think where you've got like four for Liverpool, 3 or 4 for Chelsea, 3 for Arsenal, like I think there should have been one per team.
Yeah.
Like, do you know, have you got to hand there how many colour blasts there are in total?
25.
Yes, I think give or take, you should have given basically one to each team. Because I wasn't say like, that don't take away the element of it being a case hit and being a short print, but you wouldn't, there's 25 out there anyway. And I think, you in my opinion, they should have given one to each team. Like I get you're going to spread it out over Groovy, over Deep Space, over Color Blast, and have, teams across all 3 different case hits. But I feel like they should have probably spread it out over all the teams, one for each team. And whether they release like a separate Legends checklist for Color Blast, like a Legends Color Blast, I don't to give it that extra bit. I don't know, but yeah, I think it'd have been good because why have you put Forest in there but not Newcastle? Why put Leeds in there and not Brighton? Like it just doesn't make sense why they've picked out these random teams as well. So yeah, I think it should have at least one per team and had rather than putting 4 into some of the big clubs and just do it one for each team and do it that way. So I agree with you.
And I just realised, going through all them parallel, there's no standard cracked ice either. There's no H2 Prizm products that have been officially released yet. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And if that's the case, there'll be more one-of-ones to go after. But Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting, obviously, to see the prices of boxes and of cases, because no doubt, like as we were saying, the more things get hit, the cheaper the boxes are going to be. The cheaper the boxes, the cheaper the spots. I actually think that the hobby boxes might be around the 2 to 250 area in not too distant future, which would be good. I think the breakaway is around the 170 area. It's not released yet, but on pre-order, so that might even drop to that around the 125 area, which is obviously good for us collectors. But then again, would you rather spend £150, £200 on a box, or would you rather pay £200 in spots? I'd probably rather do the spots or just buy the raw. So, yeah, Prizm overall, if you had to give it a grade out of 10, what are you going to give it for Prizm? Because it's always a tricky one early on that the grade will change when you see the cards in person, but an early grade off the bat.
I would probably give it 7. I was going to go 7.5, but I'm going 7. I think there's still potential when you see a lot more cards in person, especially at London next month. Hopefully, we'll see a lot more of the Prizm cards in person and see what the QC is like, and just see a few more parallels pulled. But I think from what I've seen so far, you've seen a lot of big hitters already pulled. Like the amount of one-on-ones you've seen pulled already is, and a lot of short prints are beyond belief. So, yeah, I think I'd go 7 overall so far. What about you?
Yeah, I was going to say around the 7 area. It's not the best. It's not the best Prizm, but it's not the worst Prizm. There's some really nice cards to chase. I think the checklist overall is quite good, especially for the base cards. Obviously, having some good rookies for Arsenal is always handy. And it seems like they've actually done quite well picking the players that most players, as it stands, people would want to collect. So obviously, you're going to get it for certain teams like Brighton, no doubt have Trossard, Chelsea have Jorginho, and there'll be other examples around the league. But yeah, I think it's going to be, excuse me, quite a good one to chase over the next couple of months going into the year. So it's been very good. And there was another set released on Friday. Obviously, it's a Tops release, so you can buy it, but you probably have to wait about 3-4 months for it to arrive, which was the Argentina World Cup winners set. Quite an interesting one. Obviously, one of their new created sets. Obviously, has your likes of Messi autos. And there was quite a nice duos one in there of Maradona and Messi, which was quite nice. Obviously, they announced, I think it was a good year and a half ago that they announced they'd bought the Argentinian rights. So it's just a nice, another new created set. Obviously, Messi's will do well. Obviously, no Maradona autos in it, but it's a nice, another created set. But personally, for me, there's no Arsenal players in it, so I'm not too fussed. But it's nice to see Tops doing these different things. And obviously, I think that goes hand in hand with Fanatics taking over, that they will be going for these other kind of rights as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a cool another set to add into the equation. I think, there's plenty of growth in it for breaks and for spots and stuff like that. And it's pretty cool, a World Cup winning curated set. I said you got a Maradona and Messi dual card on there. So, I think it will sell well. I think it's limited to 50 per customer. I think it is. I think I read somewhere. So, for those that do buy them in bulk and break them. But, I think it's a cool little set. Nothing too, blow your minds, nothing too crazy. But it's a cool little set. I do like the curated sets. I think they are pretty cool. Just waiting for an Arsenal one to be released at some point. But no, I think it's a cool little set, and hopefully it should be a nice little cheap break for people to get involved in. And as I said, whenever Tops decides to deliver them.
Yeah, moving on to Tops. Obviously, now the new Living Set 2.0 is now out. And I have to admit, I think the 2.0 is 100% better already than 1.0. Obviously, it was still nice really before. I've got an example here. Jude Bellingham from the same set where it was very cartoony. It looked like it's been drawn out. It's not a proper auto. Whereas these new ones, the pictures on them are fantastic. Actually, more of an oil painting look, and I think it's going to be a very, very nice set to not just chase, but also just to look at, because I think they're just an improvement. My one thing before, there was some horrid ones before where they did not look like the player, or it looked like half their face was drawn by someone and half the other face was drawn by someone else. But I definitely say 2.0, big dub.
Yeah, massively, 100%. Said you pretty much hit the nail on the head with everything you said to us about 2.0. The card designs are much better, much more realistic, much much professional. You know, I didn't not like the previous Living set. I did think it was pretty good, but I think it's just now they've released this 2.0, you've seen a massive difference in the two different sets. So yeah, it's a massive win, and you know, look forward to seeing them released again every week, because I think we originally thought they'd either stop doing them or they'd obviously stopped to some degree. But yeah, it's good to see they brought them back again, and yeah, looking forward to seeing them released again every week.
Yeah, and obviously another one for the weekly one. So as it stands, it's on a Tuesday. It's the Project 22. On the Friday, it's Living Sen, and obviously there's other ones as well. I think there's a Le Mans on a Thursday, and then I think there's a Star Wars on a Wednesday. So every day they've got a different release. But I know you don't want to talk about it, but I've got to bring it up. Did you receive a gold envelope in the post?
Yeah, I come in from work on Saturday night and I was like, oh, I've got a parcel. What's this from? And it was gold, and it said, oh, you know, send it was Tops. I'm thinking it's a gold envelope from Tops. I went, oh my, I literally video called Ronnie and Lewis, Jason, Louis, and said, right, boys, I got a gold envelope from Tops here. Like, is this my Saka Project 22 as a parallel? Have I literally ordered one and got a parallel? Opened it up and I've gone, oh, it was just the base.
Lovely,
Literally
base.
just, oh, it's a lovely card. Take nothing away from it. Like, I mean, I wish Tops would put it in the right size mag so it doesn't slap around every time you move it. But yeah, it was just a base. So I was a bit like, oh, I'm a bit confused. And I put up my Instagram story, for those of you who probably follow me would have seen it. And some guy did reply and go, no, that is normal. They have started sending them in gold packages. So yeah, was a little bit of heartbreak. My heart did shatter a little bit when I opened it up and saw it wasn't a parallel. But yeah, we got, I think, two more coming. I think we've got the the Jesus and the Vieira, I think, are both coming in the post still. So 2 more chances. But yeah, it was a little bit disheartened to have a gold envelope and no parallel.
That's right. I'm still waiting on my Saka. So hopefully my one arrives tomorrow. Mine's just not being bothered being delivered yet. It's been sitting in my sorting office for about 3
Post
days.
is lazy.
Yeah, so hopefully tomorrow that'll come through and go with the Odegaard. But like I said, there's still a few more to come out for us. But in general, it's a really nice set. Hopefully one of us manages a parallel or someone listening manages a parallel. But it's been quite interesting. Obviously, moving away from Panini and Tops for the moment, there was a bit of drama this week in terms of in the card. Well, it's just an interesting talking point because sadly I've seen it happen a few times recently, and it happened over a Whatnot, where a certain breaker, obviously not mentioning any names, but if you want to watch the video, it's over on Cardpool on Instagram. And it was a guy opening up Donruss, NFL. For people who don't know, the main chase in that set, one of the main chases is Downtown. It's a really nice card, and you can tell when you hit a Downtown because it's like a silver vinyl, and the rest of it's a paper-based set. And he's flicking through the set, and he sees the final, so he gets to a red parallel, and then takes it off screen to pretty much remove the Downtown, keep the Downtown, then say, oh, I didn't hit nothing else. He gets called out for it. But obviously it's a tricky one because you can't stop someone doing it live. You're trusting them. But what I found was the next day, I received an email from Whatnot, or I see a tweet go out saying they're starting a new moderator system because they've said they've seen this issue happen a few times in the past 72 hours. They want independent moderators to literally put in hours, view people's streams, report any issues. So, if we talk about the actual issue to begin with, is people, I don't even know the right terminology for it, but obviously tricking their customers out. It's a horrid thing to see, but and then second part, it's good to see Whatnot straight away trying to put something in place to make it a better experience for the collector, because that could put someone off. That could be the difference between hitting nothing in a break and hitting a £500 card.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you enter into a break, you put a lot of trust in that breaker to, you know, I guess, I don't want to say like be loyal, but almost be trustworthy in terms of all the cards that get hit, are packaged up safely and sent out to the rightful owners of people that bought the spots. You know, people do work hard to build up community, build up a name for themselves, build up a reputation in the hobby in terms of being a reliable breaker. You know, when you get people that do stuff like that and take their hands off camera, you know, I think for me, I guess watching a break, I guess it's always important if I was to ever become a breaker, or I guess for me, I always make sure like, your hands are always on camera, just in terms of, people don't think you do anything off camera or moving anything around, or, just so everything's visible all the time. But I think, yeah, to see that taken off of camera, the downtime removed, and then act as if nothing happened, is a bit disappointing for the hobby as a whole. But it's always, as you said, on the flip side, great to see Whatnot taking action straight away and implementing this new moderator system to, I guess make it just more a smoother process, and to sort of, mitigate and cut out any bad habits or anything that shouldn't be happening on the app. So yeah, I think, disappointed to see stuff like that happening. Because, people have said people do work hard to build up these, reputations in the hobby in terms of as a reliable breaker. But the guys that build it up usually are the ones that will always stay reliable and trustworthy. So, as you said, credit to Whatnot for stepping in and doing something about it straight away. So yeah, I guess it's, we've taken a positive from it. But yeah, it's just a bit sad to see.
Yeah, like I say, we never wanted to see it happen to anyone at all. So, like I say, kudos very much to Whatnot for trying to put something in place straight away, and obviously, hopefully, see that rolled out, not just US side, but UK side as well. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that, and we'll update people as we see it. But it's been like, that's just a good thing to see, that the community do rally up when there's something on, and they do want to take something into account, and they'll be like, look, we've seen this happen a few times, so we're trying to put something in place. Obviously, it's an impossible situation, because Whatnot can't go around someone's house and make sure that they're doing everything legit. Obviously, it's all down to trust, but hopefully the person's banned and everything like that. So, but moving on now, obviously, to our favourite segment, which is our pickups, which I'm trying to think if I've actually got anything to show. I'm still waiting for everything to arrive. In the post, I think everything I'm waiting for is still coming in the post, or not even dispatched, because people on eBay now like to wait like 5, 6, 7 days before dispatching anything. So I'm still waiting for that cancellation to come through. But I know obviously you've got that Saka there, but any other pickups?
Yes, I mean, I'm obviously, got the Saka Project 22 obviously in the post the other day. I have picked up 3, I think, different cards, all of which I'm still waiting for. I think one should hopefully be here tomorrow. The other is due to land in the UK anytime soon from the US. And the third, I think it should be here by this week as well. So hopefully, by the time we record the next episodes, I should have at least 2 of the 3 in hand ready to show. So yes, I have picked some stuff up, but no, I don't have anything to show for it because they're still not here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the one arriving from the US. Massive PC Grail card that I did manage to pick up. But I've got to be patient enough to have it called over from the US. So just waiting for that to land back in the UK and then obviously get delivered to my front door. But yeah, hopefully next time around when we record the next episode, I should have at least 2 of the 3 cards here to show.
Yeah, I was just saying, quite similar actually. Bought a nice lot on eBay about 4 days ago, still not dispatched. So that's always fun and games. And I think I've got a few more things going in the post over the next couple of days. And like I say, nothing really to show. Obviously, there has been pickups, but as we said earlier on, we're really trying to tune it down a bit to keep in line for the London card show, because we don't want to just be walking around looking at cards. We want to pick up some bits in between. And obviously, the bit in between the card show and the trade night is always not the cheapest of venues either. So I know I can get a few base cards for the same price, or even a few numbered parallels for the same price as a meal and a drink in there. So yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting few weeks. So obviously looking forward now. So it's always get the dates mixed up. 22nd,
21st and 22nd, I think it is.
Something on them lines. London Card Show, yeah, again at Sandown. So please do make sure tickets obviously still available on the London Card Show. Obviously, it'll take you through to Eventbrite where the tickets will be, and it's a very much better employed system in terms of it be all sent through on your phone, which is much easier than the old, as El Toro be listening to this, brings his club card along because he forgets his ID, the Muppet, which we should have brought up to him a few times by now. But yeah, it's going to be quite an intriguing month or so watching Prizm. Hopefully get some more news on Topps Chrome release and of quite a few other sets that are due out. But it's quite an exciting time for the hobby. I think when you get round to this springtime, You look forward to the next shows, obviously, not just in this country. You've got Germany, and then a couple of months after that, you've got everywhere. Scotland, probably that'll be in July sometime, I think. And then obviously you've got all the American ones starting. So quite an interesting time for the hobby.
Yeah, definitely. I think, it's always, the hobby always comes a bit more alive when it's, a bit more spring, summery, and the card show seasons are out in the hot weather. And, we've got a lot of good releases to look forward to. Prizm's just been released, which obviously is a bit more of a boost into the, bit more boost for the hobby with a new Prizm release. But yeah, no, we've got a lot of good things to look forward to over the coming weeks, if not a few months. So yeah, hopefully we should see the hobby back in. Not that it's not at the moment, just carrying on full swing at the moment. Also, looking up and onwards. So yeah, looking forward to the next couple of weeks and months in the hobby and seeing what arises.
Yeah, and I'd like to say thank you everyone so much for the support on last week's episode on the trike one. Do check out if you missed it. Obviously, trike 415 went down very well and a lot of very good feedback. So thank you very much for that. But obviously, if you are watching / listening along on YouTube, make sure you drop us a subscribe, press the like button and all that jazz. And obviously, thanks everyone on Spotify, and Apple, and any other platforms. Which for other people, there is a few more platforms coming soon. They've just started rolling out Google Podcasts and also Amazon Podcasts, so it should be going live on there within the next couple of weeks. It seems like every week there's another company that announces a podcast thing, so I have to get them all sorted. But like we say, thank you ever so much, everyone, for tuning in. Even though the pickup video, the best pickups of the community video was due 2 weeks ago, it will start up from next week. So make sure when we do put the post out, or even not, just send us in what you've been picking up. And there'll be a few more community segments each week being announced depending on the week. So thank you for everyone so much. Hope everyone out there is doing safe, staying well, buying and selling and trading and all that jazz. But most importantly, happy hobbying and good